What is going on, YouTube? ModzvilleUSA here, back with another video. And today we've got Sony Ps1. This is a slim model here. And I want to show you a mod you probably haven't seen before. If you follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, then you will have seen some pictures of this mod. But other than that, this is a relatively obscure mod, and what we're going to be doing today is swapping out the BIOS chip here with this slick little PCB from Will's Console Modifications. Now, I bought a ton of these PCBs bare, and then programmed the BIOS chips. And these over here, these are this is a Mayumi programmed for Japanese PS1. So why would we want to mod the BIOS? Well, it's a couple different options we have here. So we can go with the original BIOS, the boot screen, with the, some would argue, is the cleaner of the two menus. We can go just with the standard one for the PS1 Slim, or we can do the no cache BIOS, which is a custom BIOS. Now, if you're using a US PS1, just doing that BIOS swap removes the protections, and you can play backup media no problem. The main reason we're doing this is this is a Japanese PS1. And these guys you can get quite a bit cheaper than, you know, lots of US PS1s. But the problem is there's extra protections in the BIOS here. So say I were to just wire up one of these Mayumi mod chips to a Japanese PS1, we'd be able to play burned games, but we would not get the region free support. There's extra protections here that make that not possible. So by swapping this out, what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be swapping this out, the original BIOS chip, with this PCB, and this is programmed with the US BIOS, which doesn't have those protections, and it's the original BIOS for extra style points. And then we got to wire up the Mayumi. The Mayumi's programmed for a Japanese PS1. So US BIOS, Mayumi programmed for a Japanese PS1, and then we get the slick OG BIOS as well as burn game support. So we're gonna be doing that, and while we're in here too, I'll show you around just a little bit of the no cache BIOS a little later on in the video. It's a little bit of a slick little alternative to the standard PS1 BIOSes. Okay, we're going here at 3x speed. I've got Captain Tape covering all of those electrolytic capacitors. I'm just coming in here, the hot air rework station at about 350, not max airflow, like one below. Just heating up the chip. Would have been nice if I got this on camera, but you win some, you lose some. Yeah, just heat her up, lift her off with tweezers, and then come on in and clean it up. Just make sure it's ready to go, and don't try doing that without the Captain Tape or something to insulate those electrolytic caps, because those will pop pretty easy. It's no fun. You can get away with some nice micro flush cuts, but finding a good pair is tricky. So get your braid, clean it up, add more solder. You don't want to mix and match your solders, and yeah, that's really all there is to it. Don't forget to clean it up, make it look nice. I want to give it a little lick, little smooch, eat an egg off of it, and then flux it up again, because why not? Oh, and I have a little bridge on those caps there. I just come on in with the braid, with the wick, deal with it, call it good. So we've got the original BIOS chip removed. Pads have been cleaned and re-tinned. Very nice, very beautiful stuff here. Now this is the most annoying part of the mod. So as you can see here, there's these ceramic capacitors, and it just does not line up flush. Now you're not going to have this issue on every revision, I don't believe, but the PS1 Slims here, you kind of got to float it like above those capacitors, like there. Now you can't, yeah, you can tell that it's currently above those caps, and it's going to be raised just a little bit if you want to get those pads perfectly aligned there. Now you can have it sit flush, it's just the pads are going to be not lined up perfectly, so just kind of pick your poison, whichever you decide. Do you want your pads to line up perfectly but have to raise an edge of the chip, or do you want to try to have it sit flush like this? So when it's flush like this, you can see like nothing's really bridging, but it's kind of close. I prefer to just raise it. Now hopefully in a later revision they will, I talked to Will about it, he said he'll make it smaller in the future, so that would be cool. It would be very, very neat. So I'm going to add a bit more flux to this side. I got my chisel tip on, working with 335C. Here's what I'm going to do. Just going to lock in. So I'll lock in one side. And if you don't like it, you can heat the pad back up, adjust. I like that. We're going to be going over that pad again, so it doesn't have to be perfect. If you accidentally bridge two, it's no big deal. And you know what? We need to flux this side. Running out of flux. Cool. And this is how I do it. You kind of do need to add a bit of solder, especially for these raised ones here. So I go one at a time, touch the pad as well as on the chip there, feed a bit of solder. And like every 3 or so, I clean the tip off, start again, otherwise you start getting a bit of a build-up and you'll start bridging. Like that. Builds up a bit too much. Pretty straightforward stuff. We just do this for each of the pads. we inspect our work. So let's speed things up a little bit. And here's what my joints are looking like. I went back over it off camera because doing this from that angle, only being able to see through the viewfinder, was doesn't really work out for this job. You gotta see it at the angle because of the levitation here, because of these ceramic caps. Everything appears to be connected BIOS wise. So now would be a good time to test it. And this is just one little piece of maintenance that we're going to do. And you should do as well at home if you're working on a PS1 Slim, any PS2 Slim. You want to come in here and reflow these joints because it is very common for those to get cold after being plugged in, unplugged so many times over the years. That is a big cause for no power issues. And if it's not that, it's fuses. It's less common. And then even more uncommon is the power switch just being totally shot for no power. But yeah, just always do that. Reflow that, introduce new solder. In fact, much better. Okay, so we're going to test this and make sure it boots. Just going to plug it in naked like this, and we'll carry on. Very nice, very nice. Well, as you can see, we are booting to the classic fat PS1 BIOS menu. So the BIOS chip install worked out perfectly fine. Now let's wire up the mod chip. Alright, so for wiring up the mod chip here, we're just going over to Quaid.co. He's got a ton of diagrams, and yeah, we just pretty much follow this. The only thing we don't need is 1, because we're already getting 3.5 volts on the 4. There's no 1 pad, and ground is already taken care of by the BIOS chip. So there's only 6 wires instead of the regular 8. So that being said, well, let's just get into it, huh? I'll go ahead and pause at the diagram, bring it up somewhere else if you'd like. I'll have it linked below as well. We're just going to speed this up. I'm not going to do much talking. And let's just solder shit. Okay, so now we have a Japanese PS2 with a US BIOS for the OG FAT PS1, as well as a Mayumi mod chip. So we are now able to play backup discs as well as region-free US and Japanese discs. PAL will boot but not display properly, unfortunately. But hey, that's pretty good. Japan, US, burn discs. It's pretty damn good. I don't know why you'd want to play PAL games running 50 hertz anyway, so that's what's up. So I'm just gonna put this back together, test it, and once I'm done with that, I'll show you around on the custom BIOS, the no cache BIOS on one of my personal consoles. And here we are. This is the no cache custom BIOS here. No bells and whistles. It's kind of rad. It reminds me of like an old like DOS computer, just green on black, bare bones. And here's some of the settings you got here. You got the stereo. You can toggle to PAL, NTSC. It will, if you go PAL, you will probably have display issues on your NTSC running 50 hertz. But some neat little options. There's the about screen here. Send them some money. Hook them up. Get your memory card access. And here I am. I've rebooted the system with a disk in it. And this is how it rolls. Look at this. And then boom, we're in the game. Boot up times are way faster with no cache. My favorite thing about this BIOS. It's very nice. You lose the initial nostalgia there, but if you like getting right into the game, it's good shit. But anyway, thanks for watching another Modding Mondays. I'll catch you guys later.